Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel all about real estate. My name is Lewis, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Sacramento housing market. We're going to go over all sorts of stats and facts. It's been about 3 months since my last video, and I apologize. I have taken the last few months off just to really spend some quality time with family and sort of reevaluate and realign what I am going to do with this channel moving into 2023. So I'm going to share a bunch of that information with you here in the coming weeks and months as I start to roll it out. And I hope to get back on YouTube with a more full-time basis where I'm providing weekly or even daily videos about the housing market, as well as updates and maybe some YouTube short content and things like that. So anyway, I wanted to kind of jump back in it today just as a refresher because it's been so long since I've actually made a video. So I wanted to make sure I could still do it. I wanted to provide you some information on what's taking place from the boots on the ground perspective here in the Sacramento housing market. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the details here. Up on the screen, I have the data for the Sacramento region, which in this case makes up Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado County. The first chart here is the for sale, sold, and pended homes. And the light green bar here represents the inventory, housing inventory. That is the number of homes listed for sale. So for the month of November, we had just over 3,000 units listed for sale, and you can see that's actually been a steady decline since the peak inventory here in July of this year. So inventory has gone down a little bit. This is to be expected as we go into the winter months. Generally, seasonally adjusted, this number goes down a little bit. Now, the red line indicates the number of housing units that went pending or under contract. That's also down. So we have about 1,234 units under contract, which year on year, this is actually down about 7.5%. That's not a dramatic reduction, but we are seeing dramatically less sales activity. So closed units as well as pended contracts. The pended homes generally don't reflect in the number of sold homes for the next month or so because there is a lag on how long it takes to close escrow. Now, sold units, this dark green bar here, that's about just under 1,200 units. And year on year, that's actually down 17%. So we have seen a really big reduction in the amount of transactions that are taking place. So now moving on to the next chart, we have the average price per square foot. And this is one of my favorite metrics. If you've been following my channel, I think it's a great way to, or I think it's a great barometer to measure value in the marketplace. So average price per square foot as of last month was coming in at $313. Now that's actually down about 3.7% year on year. If you go back to November of last year, price per square foot on average was $325. So we're actually seeing a reduction year on year in price. Now this chart I think is really telling, very interesting here as well. The orange bar shows the average combined days on market. So as of November, just last month, we're sitting at 42 days on market. This is up 110% year over year. So homes are taking about 6 weeks to sell as an average in the region, which is a dramatic difference from where we were earlier this year and even a year ago. The other thing that I'd like to point out is this green line here. We have the original sales price compared to the original list price compared to the actual sales price. And what you can see is that we peaked out sometime in, let's say, March or April, where homes were selling on average for about 103% of what the original list price was. Today, on average, homes are selling for 94% of what the homes are originally listed at. That is a pretty dramatic reduction. So this is an indication that buyers are having a lot more negotiation power in this market, and sellers are having to make concessions and they're having to reduce their price or accept a lower price in order to be able to sell their home. All right, and the last chart that I want to touch on is the month's worth of inventory. Currently, we're sitting at about 2.6 months. If no other homes hit the market, it would take roughly 2.5 months to sell every home that's currently listed for sale. This is a high for the year. However, it's not dramatically high. Anything less than 3 months worth of inventory is still technically considered a seller's market. You can see that it peaked out in July of this year as well at about 2.6 months worth of inventory, but we're just gonna have to monitor this figure. It almost looks like it's rolling over. I suspect in December and January, we're not going to see much higher inventory, but going into the springtime, let's say February, March, April, and May, we're probably going to see the inventory kick up over 3 months, would be a guess. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at where mortgage rates are. This is the U.S. weekly average as of December 22nd, 2022. We have the 30-year fixed mortgage rate sitting at 6.27%. That is up from 1 year ago, up about 3.22%. So interest rates have doubled within the last 12 months, which has really impacted affordability, which is also why we're starting to see a lot of those price reductions and sellers having to accept a lower sales price than their original list price. 15-year fixed rate mortgage is hovering on average at about 5.69%. And now what's interesting about this is that mortgage rates have actually came down a little bit in the most recent month. If you go back just let's say 4 to 6 weeks ago, the average 30-year fix was actually hovering over 7% as indicated here on this chart. So we have seen interest rates moderate slightly, but it still hasn't moved the needle enough as far as affordability goes. Now, I ultimately don't know exactly how that's gonna affect the real estate market, but if the last 6 months has been any indication, I would not be surprised to see further price declines moving into 2023, but ultimately time will tell. So we're gonna have to monitor it and see what happens here. So anyway, I hope you found this information useful. I hope it serves you. I hope you all are doing well and are getting ready for the holidays. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope to see you more in 2023. Let me know what you're seeing. If you'd like to leave a comment, I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you on the next video.